My hand froze on the kitchen counter when I heard her voice echo through the speaker. She's so pathetic. She'll always put us first. We treat her like trash, and she still comes crawling back. My mother's voice. Cold. Sharp. Unfiltered. She didn't realize the call was on speaker. Didn't know I was standing there with her on the line while I was helping my brother pay off his second DUI fine, sending my last $400 for my grocery tip money. And right as I confirmed the transfer, she laughed. Laughed. I swear, David, she's our little safety net. She'll sacrifice her rent just to keep us happy. Poor, stupid Macy. I almost feel bad. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us what would you do in this situation? Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. My chest tightened. The air in the room vanished. Macy, that's me. And my own mother just confessed how little I meant to her. How disposable I was. And it wasn't just the words. It was the amusement in her voice that broke something inside me. She wasn't sorry. They never were. My brother chuckled in the background. She won't stop until she's homeless. I clicked the phone off, my hands trembling. I was still holding the receipt from the bank app, still staring at the line that said, "Transfer complete." They had just taken the last of my money and laughed about it. And in that moment, something inside me finally snapped. They thought I'd never stand up, that I'd stay quiet, that I'd keep being the doormat they'd used for years, ever since Dad left. Ever since I dropped out of college to take care of Mom after her so-called health scare that magically disappeared once I gave her access to my savings account. I stood there in my tiny one-bedroom apartment with cracked windows, secondhand furniture, and a rent bill I could no longer pay, and I smiled. They were going to regret every penny. But I didn't shout. I didn't call back. I didn't even cry. Instead, I grabbed my laptop, pulled out the box from under my bed where I kept the only thing that had ever truly been mine, my late grandmother's recipe notebook, and opened the browser. The same one I'd used to try and start my baking channel 2 years ago. The same one Mom said was a cute little hobby that'll go nowhere. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I'd filed for a business license, bought a secondhand food truck off a retired couple online, and named it after the one woman who never treated me like trash, Lucille's Oven. And I paid for all of it with the emergency funds I'd been saving in cash, hidden in an empty flour bag in my pantry. Funds even my mother didn't know existed. If they thought they bled me dry, they were wrong. This wasn't going to be a comeback. It was going to be a reckoning. The next time my mother called, I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. "Macy, I know you sent the money. That was really sweet of you. David said thank you too. Can you drop by this weekend? I need help fixing the dryer. It's making that noise again." No apology. No mention of what she said on the speakerphone. She didn't even know I heard. That was fine. Let them think I was still the same Macy. Because while they were watching TV in that peeling old house I helped them keep, I was on my knees scrubbing the inside of my food truck, bedding the oven, replacing the mixer belt, and burning the midnight oil baking muffins and bread until my fingers were numb and my back screamed. I slept 3 hours a night for the first week. No one knew. Not my coworkers at the diner, not my landlord, not my mother. I still showed up to work every morning at 7 a.m. like nothing had changed. I still smiled when Mom called to ask for help with a small gas bill. I said I'd see what I could do. But behind the scenes, I was feeding construction workers, early risers, and exhausted nurses in a gas station parking lot before dawn from the back of that food truck. Every bite made fresh from Grandma Lucille's notes. Lemon pound cakes, honey buttermilk biscuits, and the cinnamon rolls Mom once mocked me for baking when I was 10, saying they were too sweet, like you. I sold out every day. 3 weeks in, I quit the diner. 6 weeks in, I hired a teenage girl named Jessa from the neighborhood to help with prep. She was quiet, polite, and watched me like she didn't understand how I was doing it all alone. I told her she didn't need to understand. She just had to believe that nobody stays down forever. 8 weeks in, I started making enough to open a business account. And right before the 10-week mark, I walked into the bank branch where Mom had laughed about how broke I was, and I deposited a cashier's check with 5 zeros on it. The teller blinked. "You starting a bakery?" "No," I said softly. "I'm starting an empire." Back at home, Mom called again. I ignored it. Then she texted, "Your cousin Anna just got engaged. We're having a little celebration dinner." I told her you probably couldn't come, with your job and everything. Translation: you're not good enough. But I did go. And I parked Lucille's Oven across the street from that fancy seafood place where they were hosting the dinner. I didn't go inside. I didn't need to, because I had Jessa print flyers and I gave free dessert samples to every valet, waiter, and random couple walking past. Try Lucille's, I said with a smile. We deliver. And we're expanding soon. I made sure to wave at my uncle through the window when he came outside to smoke. His jaw dropped when he recognized me. I winked. Then I turned back to my truck, served a customer, and handed a caramel apple crumble to a woman who slipped me a 50. It was the same woman who had just walked out of the restaurant with Anna's mother. Let them whisper. Let them stare. I was done asking to be invited in. Now, they were going to watch from the sidelines while I built something they could never destroy again. And the best part? They still didn't know I'd heard the call. They still thought I was pathetic. They were about to learn what it really means to burn a bridge with someone who knows how to build castles out of ash. 3 months after I heard my mother's voice crackle through the speakerphone and fracture the last fragile thread of loyalty I had left, she showed up uninvited. I was parked downtown outside the county courthouse, just a block away from City Hall. A big event was happening that morning, some small business showcase or council grant program. I wasn't invited to that either. But I didn't need to be, because the mayor's assistant had eaten my banana walnut loaf 2 weeks prior during a rainstorm, and she remembered. She ordered 50 boxes for the council breakfast. By 10 a.m., I was surrounded. People in suits, people in scrubs, judges and janitors lining up for Lucille's oven. Jessa was running receipts, flour on her cheek, hair tied back under one of our new branded hats. We had matching aprons now, real uniforms. I was boxing up muffins when I looked up and there she was, my mother, standing on the curb, holding a cheap grocery store coffee, wearing that smug little frown like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. At first, I thought she was just passing by. But no, she crossed the street, walked right up to the truck like she hadn't gutted me just 3 months ago. Macy, she said, blinking as if she wasn't sure whether to be surprised or offended. Is this yours? I didn't flinch, didn't blink. I wiped powdered sugar off my hands and nodded calmly. Yes. Mine. She let out a laugh that had no humor in it. Wow. So this is what you've been doing instead of helping your family? My chest tightened. Instead of helping? I helped her pay off 2 credit cards. I bailed my brother out of jail. I paid her heating bill last winter. And even after all that, all she saw was what I hadn't done for her lately. She looked around. You're selling cupcakes from a truck. Is this really the best use of your college degree? I kept my voice level. You mean the degree I never finished because I stayed behind to care for you? Her mouth opened, and then shut. That flicker of discomfort in her eyes? It was brief, swallowed by pride. I didn't ask you to do that. You didn't have to, I said. You just made sure I felt like I had no choice. The customers kept lining up behind her. Some looked impatient. One woman actually said, "Ma'am, can you move? I'm trying to get a cinnamon swirl before they sell out." My mother scoffed and stepped aside like she was royalty being asked to step out of her own palace. Her eyes scanned the truck again, this time slower. She saw the fresh paint, the lines, the new signage, the coming soon second truck launch sticker near the counter. You're expanding? I smiled without showing teeth. I'm not just expanding. I'm taking over. She blinked like someone had slapped her. I leaned forward just enough for my voice to drop. I know what you said, Mom. That day. On the phone. She stiffened. I heard every word. She's pathetic. She'll always put us first. I quoted her flatly. Remember now? Her cheeks flushed. For once, she was speechless. Don't worry, I added. I let you believe that for a while. It made it easier to work in silence. Build in peace. I let you think I was still small. She swallowed. Her voice, when it came, was quieter. Macy, you have to understand. I raised my hand. No. You have to understand. You don't get to talk to me like that and still show up for free pastries and congratulations. She blinked, clearly trying to keep her cool. She glanced toward the crowd again, realizing how many eyes were now watching her. She'd always hated attention unless she was in control of it. I was upset that day, she tried. I didn't mean what I said. You meant every word. You just didn't mean for me to hear it. Silence. Behind her, someone in a tailored suit leaned over and said, "Excuse me, are you her mother? Your daughter's amazing. These are the best muffins I've ever had. You must be proud." Mom's face twisted into something between a smirk and a wince. Of course. Always. But her voice lacked conviction. She turned and walked away without ordering anything. And I didn't stop her, because I was done serving people who only showed up to drain me dry. I turned to the next customer, my voice warm again. Hi. Welcome to Lucille's Oven. What can I get you? He grinned. Whatever that cinnamon smell is, I'll take 3. By the time the councilwoman walked over and invited me to submit a proposal for a city-sponsored cafe space downtown, I was already one step ahead. The paperwork was in my glove box. Signed. Ready. They tried to break me. They took my savings, my trust, and nearly shattered my spirit. But now? Now they were about to watch the girl they called pathetic become the name on everyone's lips and the face behind the fastest-growing bakery in the county. It was the grand opening of my cafe, Lucille's Hearth. Not a food truck. Not a borrowed parking space. A real brick-and-mortar bakery cafe, right on the corner of Main and Ivy, the same block where my mother once worked at the insurance office she bragged about constantly. Now my name was etched into the glass storefront in gold script. The smell of fresh sourdough, brown sugar, and cinnamon filled the air. Jessa was behind the new espresso machine, wearing a crisp white uniform. 2 new hires worked the counter. My uncle's ex-wife, yes, her, was waiting in line with her toddler, who pointed at the frosted cupcakes on display and shouted, "Birthday cake." It felt surreal. Every inch of the cafe was built from those nights I didn't cry. From the mornings I woke up cold and exhausted but pushed anyway. From the betrayal I let fester and fuel me instead of letting it destroy me. I wore my best blazer, lipstick on, hair pulled back. Confidence poured from me like honey, thick, warm, and slow. At exactly 11:42 a.m., the door opened again and my mother walked in. I didn't freeze, didn't flinch. She looked around like she'd stepped into a dream she wasn't invited to. The cafe was buzzing. People from the Chamber of Commerce were seated near the front window. A local food blogger was live streaming her review. A photographer was snapping shots for the lifestyle column. And there stood my mother, in her wrinkled coat, holding a purse I'd bought her 2 birthdays ago, before everything. Her voice was quiet. "Macy." I didn't stop wiping down the counter. "Can I help you with something?" She hesitated, clearly unsure of her place now. She looked at the empty stool across from me, then sat, clutching the purse like it might shield her. "I saw the pictures online. The opening. You've really done something here. Is that what you came to say?" She shook her head slowly. "No. I came to apologize." I raised my eyebrows. That was new. Her eyes glistened, but no tears fell. I was cruel. I was tired. Angry. I don't know what I was thinking when I said those things. I guess I didn't realize how much I depended on you until you stopped answering. I leaned in slightly, voice calm. "You didn't realize how much you depended on me until I stopped letting you use me." Her lips trembled. "Maybe. But Macy, I'm still your mother." "No," I said gently but firmly. "You are the woman who raised me. And for that, I'll always carry something with me. But I'm not your doormat anymore. And you don't get to walk into my life now that it smells like cinnamon and success." That hurt her. I could see it. Good. Because this wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about reclaiming something I'd never been allowed to have. Self-worth. She shifted in her seat. "I just thought maybe I could be part of this. Somehow." I looked her straight in the eye. "You had the chance to be part of my life. You chose to mock it instead. And that's not something you fix with one visit and a sad face." She looked down. Then, like always, she tried to reach for guilt. "You're really going to shut me out? Just like that?" I smiled slowly. "I'm not shutting you out. I'm just not holding the door open anymore." A long silence stretched between us. Then she stood, fumbled for her purse, and said, "I'll be outside, in case you change your mind." But I didn't. Instead, I turned back to my work, back to the counter, to the line of people who saw value in what I built. And as I boxed up a dozen scones for a regular, she whispered, "You're the strongest woman I know." I didn't say thank you. Not yet. Because strength isn't proven by how much you forgive. Sometimes, it's in how firmly you say, "No more." As she walked out of the cafe, the door swung shut behind her with a soft chime. A clean break. A new chapter. And just as I turned to help the next customer, the mayor herself stepped in, smiling wide. "Macy," she said, "the city wants to feature you as our Entrepreneur of the Month. Are you free next Tuesday for an interview?" I blinked, then smiled. "Yes. Yes, I am." The local magazine article hit shelves 3 days later. There I was, front cover, holding a basket of golden muffins, captioned in bold print. From rock bottom to rising star, meet Macy Hart, the heart behind Lucille's hearth. People from my past began crawling out of the shadows. Old classmates I hadn't spoken to in years sent messages. Former coworkers asked if I was hiring. Even my high school principal emailed me to ask if I'd speak at an upcoming fundraiser. And then it happened. The phone rang. A number I hadn't seen in over a year. My brother. I let it ring 5 times before picking up. Macy, he said, his voice cautious, unsure. Hey, I saw the article. I stayed quiet. He chuckled awkwardly. You look good. I mean successful. What do you want, David? A pause. Then he got to it. He always did. Look, I messed up. I know. But things are bad right now. I lost my job. I've been sleeping on a friend's couch. I just thought maybe, since you're doing so well. You want money, I said coldly. Not a question. A fact. He went quiet. I could hear the faint sound of a TV in the background. Not forever, he said. Just enough to get back on my feet. Like when I paid your DUI fine? He didn't answer. Like when I covered your rent for 6 months? Or gave you the down payment for the car you crashed? Macy, come on. No, I said. Not this time. You'd really turn your back on your own brother? No, I whispered. You turned your back on me. You laughed at me. With her. On speakerphone. Remember? Silence. You said I'd always put you first. That I'd always come through, no matter how bad you treated me. You were proud of that, David. You made it a joke. I didn't mean it like that. But you did. And now you're here, broke and desperate, asking for help from the same pathetic sister you used to mock. He sighed. So, you're just gonna let me fail? I stared out the window of my office. Yes, my office, above the bakery. Sunlight streamed in through polished glass. A vase of fresh peonies sat on the desk. A plaque hung on the wall beside me that read, Owner, Founder, Fighter. I'm not going to let you fail, I said quietly. I'm going to let you figure out who you are without me. Then I hung up. And I didn't cry. Because healing doesn't always look like hugs and reconciliation. Sometimes healing means walking away. Saying no. Closing a chapter that should have ended long ago. The next week, I launched Lucille's Home, a weekend program to teach struggling young women how to bake, manage finances, and build something for themselves. We filled every seat within hours. Jessa now ran half the kitchen. I paid her double minimum wage and gave her Saturdays off. I made sure no one in my care ever felt like I did. One Saturday, I stayed late after class and found a small envelope sitting on my office chair. No name. No card. Inside was a wrinkled old photo of me and Grandma Lucille at her garden, both of us smiling, flour on our cheeks. A small note was scrawled on the back. She would be so proud. M. My mother. No apology. No phone number. Just that. And for the first time in years, I let a single tear fall. Just one. I didn't wipe it away. Because I had finally done it. I built something sacred from the ruins they left me in. They had stolen my trust, my savings, my voice. And I gave them nothing back. Only success. Only silence. Only the view of a daughter they never truly knew, rising so far above them. They could only look up.